Hi, my name is Michelle Matthews, and I am in my 7th year as the pastor of the Kingstowne Communion, which is this newer faith community in Alexandria, Virginia, that launched in 2016 with the mission to extend the table of Jesus Christ and gather people into communion with Jesus Christ through 3 ways: through courageous conversation, creative community, and collaborating for the common good. It's funny how when we started this church in 2016, we thought we knew what that mission looks like when we lived it out. But with each new season of our church, we continue to rediscover that God is doing something new among us, how God is moving, what God is doing, and yet these 3 core values of our church: courageous conversation and creative community and collaborating for the common good, they've stayed the same, and yet God has opened our eyes to how we are called to live them out anew. I imagine your church is going through a lot like that right now too. We have found that one of the ways that we are called to live this mission, and I believe that we're all called, every church is called to live this mission, is by responding with great urgency to the needs of our community and the needs of our world. As United Methodists, we are really good at the method, right? We have a whole book about the method that holds us accountable to how we ought to live and organize and be held accountable as the church. But what happens when the needs of our community and the needs of our world don't know about our method and don't have time to wait on our method? When our community and our world is hurting? At Kingstowne, we've learned that mission on the front lines is urgent, and it requires us, the church, and every one of you, all of your churches as well. It requires us to move into this urgency, or we will be considered unhelpful and inconsequential when the world is hurting. Because the world's hurt has no time to wait for our committees to gather, or for next month's mission team meeting, or for the funding to be budgeted for and approved when a crisis happens. The world is hurting now, and the world is watching now, right? The community is abuzz about this crisis now. So it's up to us to respond now, or we'll be left in the dust. At Kingstowne, we've learned the mission on the front lines is urgent. And that a great deal of what it means for us to extend God's table through courageous conversation and creative community and collaborating for the common good is bending towards that urgency. So that we can have quick, courageous conversations about what the next steps are that we must take, and creatively gather our community for this cause, and invite our community partners to help collaborate and resource and spread the word for the common good of this moment. So let me share with you today a few of the ways that we have done this as the Kingstowne Communion. December 22nd, 2018, if you'll remember, began the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Thousands of government workers and military personnel, widely affecting our D.C. metro area, were furloughed for 35 days from December 22nd to January 25th, 2019. And I'm sure you remember this moment and how it affected the people in your community and your congregation. Perhaps it affected your family. This was all anyone was talking about and praying about in our community and in our church, knowing that we needed to respond, and we needed to respond urgently. We reached out to some of our local partners at Fiona's Irish Pub and Lito's Pizza in Kingstowne about the possibility of furloughed workers in our area being able to come and eat for free, and that we, the Kingstowne Communion, would cover the tab. We worked out a deal with each restaurant for a reduced cost, a flat fee of $5 per person for particular dishes on the menu, this hand-picked menu, and then evening after evening after evening for the entire month of January, we continued to offer a free weekly dinner out for families affected by the shutdown in our area. But by January 25th, we had provided 1,400 meals for government workers, military personnel, and their family members affected by the shutdown. If you do the math, not yet even including the tip, that's over $8,000 in dinners. For our little church that had in no way budgeted for this in our financial planning for 2019. And I'll share a little bit more on that in a bit. And then let me share a moment more recent before I offer some guiding principles for how to be in a church in mission on the front line like this. In August of 2021, when the U.S. ended our longest war and pulled out of Afghanistan, as the Taliban pressed in, we all watched the horror, right? That was unfolding as people were fleeing for their lives, and Afghan refugees are being flown all over the globe, leaving with nothing more than the clothes on their backs. As we watched the news that horrific day, we knew we had to do something. We wanted to respond, as I'm sure you probably did too. We wanted to know how we could help, what we could do. We felt helpless. And so we sent a quick email that morning to Lutheran Social Services, the leading nonprofit in the DC metro area working with refugees, and they responded within an hour. And they said that they are currently working moment by moment and minute by minute, and they are inundated by requests as Alexandria, Virginia was quickly becoming, overnight, one of the largest relocation hubs for Afghan refugees. They said, we don't even know quite yet all that we need or how we're organizing it, or if we even have enough people to organize it, how many families, we don't know. But urgently, at this very moment, there's one family that arrived just a few days ago and is staying on the floor of an empty apartment. Do you think your church could quickly organize something for them? Just, get them a bed or something. That first day, we adopted a family of 3, created a sign-up genius, a list of about 50 things that this family might need, from furniture to kitchen supplies to lamps to gift cards to toys for their kids to electronics. We gave people the opportunity to donate money or to gifts in kind, and collected items in boxes under our associate pastor Alyssa's carport because we're a church without a building. We blasted it out to our community, and in a matter of 6 hours, we had everything claimed that we needed. Everything signed up for. The money needed to make it happen. And 2 days later, we set up this family's apartment, including welcome mats and gift baskets and fresh baked cookies, this lavish gesture of hospitality for our community. But because of how fast we organized for one family of 3, we knew that we could do more. So we reached back out to Lutheran Social Services 3 days later and asked if we could adopt 2 more families. And they assigned us a family of 7 with 5 children and a family of 9, 1 adult child and 6 children under 18 that were among those who had fled the day Kabul fell to the Taliban. And we updated our lists and signups and accepted more in-kind donations and monetary gifts. And within 1 week, we had collected everything we needed to set up fully 2 apartments for 16 Afghan refugees total, organizing 40 to 50 in-kind and monetary donors and hands-on volunteers to make it happen, and raising over $10,000 in support of this project, this Welcome Home project. 3 families cared for over the course of about 10 days, responding with urgency when our community and the world is hurting. This is what I believe the church today is called into. This kind of urgency, this kind of mission on the front lines. And guess what? Your church can do it too. Let me offer, in closing, just a few guiding principles for now. How to create a culture that can respond with urgency when the world hurts now for your church. 1, first, which is probably the hardest, the decision-making culture of your church has to change. At the Kingstowne Communion, my leadership team knows that if we can't be a part of the thing that God is doing now, not next week, not next month, but now, we're going to be left in the dust. And so my favorite thing about the Kingstowne Communion is our culture is permission giving. And this works in multiple ways. If someone comes to me with an idea, something that excites them and aligns with our mission of our church, I let my voice and my support help them make it happen. But also my leadership team considers that a significant part of my job. What allows us to be this courageous, creative, and collaborative church is being able to respond quickly when a need presents itself. And so though I must keep them in the loop and involve them in the process, they trust and believe in the mission and are eager to offer their urgent yes when God is calling. 2, you don't have to have a big budget to do big mission. The examples I gave required funds that our church did not have. But there is a world out there in your wider community full of opportunity and partnerships and people on the periphery of your church who may not know what they think about the church, but are desperate to give to frontline mission projects like these two. From Facebook fundraisers to Venmo to easy text-to-give functions, you can raise money for urgent mission that people care about now from donors who are not even in your congregation or committed givers in your church. This becomes a way to expand your community presence, expand the witness of your church in the world. This is where all the world truly becomes your parish. People are eager to give to things that matter, things that are local, things that are real and timely. Give them that opportunity to give without overtapping the committed financial givers of your church. But I promise that when the people in your church see what is happening, they also will give above and beyond. Finally, 3, don't wait. Don't wait until the next mission meeting or leadership council. Don't wait until you've raised all the money for the project or have all the volunteers signed up for the project. When you believe and begin to act accordingly to the urgency of the mission, people will respond. And they will share it with their friends, and they will tell all the world about their church. This is the freedom and gift of the world of the online church, that you can make amazing things happen through a simple email or a text or a social media post or a video that can change the shape of your church and the missional impact for the kingdom in your area. It is a wild ride, but it's a worthy ride. And I'm excited to hear about how God is pushing you to respond urgently to where the world is hurting in your community. And so feel free to email me at connect@kingstownecommunion.net to share your stories or your questions. Blessings to you.